I'm not there to be liked. I don't care if you like me or you like me, or I just want to be respected. I want to earn your respect by doing all the right things, treating people respectfully, and just working as hard as I can.
Carli Lloyd is one of the best-known, most accomplished players in U.S. soccer history.
Towards Carli Lloyd, oh, what a goal! It's sensational! She's the best midfielder in the world.
A two-time Olympic gold medalist, two-time FIFA World Cup champion, and a key voice in a generation who made the women's national team household names. A New Jersey native, she rose up through the club and college system, eventually winning a spot on the national team, delivering one of the most memorable single performances in international soccer history, becoming the only woman to score a hat trick in a FIFA World Cup final. And yet her voice isn't always the loudest, and when it isn't always in concert with her team.
To be dancing, to be smiling, I mean, the player of the match was that post.
Carli made her own way, true to those Jersey roots, building a business around herself and the game of soccer.
But I knew that if I'm going to have any type of financial stability when I'm done playing, I had to take every advantage of my opportunity.
Now she's on a mission to take her sport to the next level and ensure those hard-fought gains stick at one of the most critical moments in the sport's history. The enthusiasm for women's soccer has reached an all-time high, with viewership soaring to a record 2 billion people for the 2023 Women's World Cup, held in Australia and New Zealand. Nevertheless, the shocking premature exit of the U.S. women's national team ignited conjecture and cast doubt on the future of the American game, doubts that may bleed into the future of the NWSL, until now widely considered the home of the best soccer clubs in the world. Taken positively, the U.S.'s early exit from the World Cup highlighted just how much women's soccer has expanded globally, and how other countries are enthusiastically backing their own leagues. Now retired, Carli Lloyd traded the field for the broadcast booth at the most recent men's and women's World Cups, and has literally bought into the game. In building her burgeoning empire, she's staying close through her clinics and camps, as well as through minority ownership in the resurgent National Women's Soccer League, or NWSL. She holds a stake in the New York, New Jersey Gotham FC team. She's helping pass the torch to a new generation, sometimes quite literally.
With me finishing up at Gotham FC, I really believed in the club and the path that it was going on. And so quickly after I retired, those talks had started about how I could still stay involved in the game and if I'd like to have some stake as a minority owner.
Carli's ownership and involvement as an owner of Gotham is a critical endorsement for the league. Under new Commissioner Jessica Berman, the NWSL is expanding with new franchises in Salt Lake City and the San Francisco Bay Area, the latter bought at a record valuation. That makes Carli's stake in Gotham not just good for the game, but good for her bottom line.
And I thought it was an unbelievable opportunity, something to still stay around the game and offer, some ideas and different things that can just help propel the sport and help propel the team. You're seeing a trend of that happening now, like, Angel City. They've got a lot of former players who have some ownership in that.
It feels like, your ownership, as well as some of the other former players going in, it's emblematic to some extent of a very topsy-turvy journey, to say the least, for women's professional soccer in this country. Over the course of even your lifetime, this is the third try at this. And when you came out, there wasn't a league to necessarily go to, right?
Yeah, no. And I trained with the Philadelphia Charge when I was in high school and WUSA.
By the time you get out, that doesn't exist. Then there's another league that comes. It's kind of mind-boggling, especially where we are now with the franchise values and whatnot. Why has it been so hard to actually cement a pro league?
Money works wonders. And not just millions, you need billions and you need a lot of it. And so I think the WUSA, the WPS, and now we have the NWSL. I think, WUSA and WPS just couldn't afford to play the players what they probably deserve to make, but also continue the longevity of the career. So you saw those leagues fold. Now with the NWSL, some of us national team players were actually paid from the U.S. Soccer Federation to play in the NWSL. So that offset the teams having to pay the national team players, those top core national team players, a salary, which then kind of helped them divvy that money up to the rest of the players. And so now we've seen all these trends and these problems and lawsuits and investigations. And here we are in the 11th season. Salaries are more, owners are throwing in more money, playing conditions, field conditions, training conditions are getting better. I finally feel like there's change and right change that's being taken place.
Involvement with the local pro team brings her career full circle. Her soccer life is firmly rooted in the Garden State.
This is familiar territory, if not a familiar building. This is pretty sweet. But what does it feel like for you to be back on campus, back at Rutgers?
Well, this is great. I did not have this building when I was here playing back in 2001 to 2004. And this, for me, is kind of where it all started. I feel like into my nearing the professional level.
Not too far from here, you hit your stride by all accounts. In middle school, you start to realize, there's something here. Take me back to that time and that realization that this is what you wanted to do.
And I started playing at the age of 5. My parents just happened to sign me up for soccer. They didn't play soccer themselves. I wasn't born into a soccer family at all. I kind of carried on through my town team, travel team, eventually came to a point in my life which was abnormal back then. Mm-hmm. Do you stay in your town or do you leave and go to a different club? And that was a really hard and big decision that my parents and I had to make. I had this opportunity to go play for the Medford Strikers. And so it was a great opportunity, especially if I wanted to go and play in college and get recognized on that level. And so I made the jump. It just catapulted me into that next space that I needed to be in.
You will see some extraordinary things today. You'll experience the atmosphere from this world record crowd, and you will meet this U.S. team that hopes to bring back the World Cup trophy.
It was probably not until watching one of the 1999 Women's World Cup games at Giant Stadium while I was, playing on the Medford Strikers where I was like, this is what I want to do. Just seeing, everybody out there. Their names were on the back of their jerseys. I mean, who wouldn't want to dream of playing in that environment, in a packed stadium where the fans are cheering for you? It was the most incredible thing I had ever been to.
You're highly recruited. I believe, you're looking pretty seriously at Rutgers and West Virginia, but obviously other schools are very interested. You decide to come here, and it feels like the underdog part of it starts to, that plays a role in your ultimate decision.
I came from a very small town in New Jersey, Delran, New Jersey. It was a working class neighborhood. I was the best thing in my town, but I wasn't pegged as the nationally best in high school. I wasn't on a lot of schools' radars. And so the sales pitch from Glenn Crooks, who recruited me, was we could really put Rutgers on the map. And that was enticing to me.
Rutgers proved a worthwhile proving ground, a chance to both build a program and stand out in the broader burgeoning soccer ecosystem. Carli would end her career at the school with a record for most points scored. Despite those impressive achievements and recognition, going pro was still uncertain.
Talk me through that early part of that journey into the national team.
My time at Rutgers, I had been part of the under-21 national team. Cut on one of those years and thought about quitting and all these things and giving up, and I still loved it. I didn't ultimately want that. I eventually got back onto the under-21 national team and then had an opportunity to go in 2004 during their Olympic cycle to train with the full women's national team. That was all of them. That was Mia, that was Foudy, Chastain, Lily, all of them. Most of them had just retired after that moment. And I remember saying to myself, man, I've got a long way to go. But it gave me a taste. And I think once I got that taste, I just wanted more.
At the time, women's soccer was in a slump. The '99 World Cup was a moment of massive hope for the game in America, expectation that was ultimately crushed by the reality of underperformance on the pitch. To make matters worse, a second effort to start a U.S. professional soccer league for women failed, and failing to win the World Cup in 2011 only deepened the existential crisis.
There's this pivot point, again, for you, for the team, the sport, because it had been that 16-year drought from the 99ers to then.
2011, we thought that our time was to win a World Cup, and it wasn't our time.
Oh, and put it high over the bar, and she cannot believe it. And the World Cup for Japan!
That moment in particular, it was a pretty unbelievable moment. For the team, for myself.
The intervening 4 years were a grind toward redemption, culminating in what felt somehow both unlikely and inevitable. Both a team win and an individual performance for the ages.
That moment was life-changing for me individually.
And I want to show you one highlight. Take a look at that.
Fantastic start by the USA.
Lloyd with Morgan streaking. She's chipping the goalkeeper! Off the post and in!
Never gets old seeing that. It's that packed stadium I got to watch and then play in.
Carli Lloyd with a hat trick.
Every time I watch it, I get chills. I was watching it live. So much turned on that moment. For you, for the team, for the sport. Did it feel like that in the moment? What did it feel like?
I wanted to win a World Cup. Our team wanted to win a World Cup. And so going into that, we knew how much pressure there was. Everything had been building. You now had a nation that was able to get to Canada, to a lot of the games. We felt like we were playing on home soil. I was putting so much pressure on myself. And when I changed my mindset midway through the tournament and just approached it one game at a time, me being on the top of the world, the team being on top of the world, and the sport forever changed. That moment was life-changing for me individually. From a financial standpoint to a brand standpoint, it essentially took 10 years for me to individually get to that point. I went from really just being under the radar to suddenly being in the spotlight.
You know who I'm talking about, Carli Lloyd.
Carli Lloyd!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an American hero.
Congratulations, Carli.
Carli, what have you been eating?
She's right here, hold on. Hey, Mr. President.
I had speaking engagements, sponsors that wanted to sign me, appearances, you name it, I had it. But now I'm having to go to train, schedule an appearance after that, fly here, fly there, come back. It became very mentally draining for the next easily couple years because I was extremely busy. But I knew that if I'm going to have any type of retirement, any type of financial stability when I'm done playing, I had to take every advantage of my opportunity. And so I literally did every appearance and everything that came my way. My husband, he is definitely eagerly waiting for me to just switch off and not be as psychotic as I have been.
Carli, psychotic? No.
You've talked a lot about how difficult that was for you, especially from a personal perspective. You have a tough time with your family. It becomes a really difficult personal time then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I had been talking to my family for 12 years, I think from 2008 to 2020. I didn't necessarily choose to sacrifice, not speaking to my family for that many years, but I was on a sole mission to be the best that I possibly could and reach the top of the soccer world. And with that, there's things that suffer. It was harder than anything that I've had to do, but I just was trying to do everything possible to build my brand in the right way for my future.
As Carli's personal brand grew, so did the brand of the USWNT. Not only were they winning, they were taking on societal issues on a world stage.
You think FIFA should close that gap?
Absolutely. We work just as hard as men, and we push ourselves to the limit.
However, as the team started to use their celebrity status to advocate for social justice, Carli started to drift, feeling the team was losing focus. Refusing to kneel to protest racial inequality during the anthem had her standing in opposition to her teammates.
It was really tough and challenging to play these last several years. To be quite honest, I hated it. The culture within the team was the worst I'd ever seen it.
Carli says she wasn't as close with those players as many would have believed.
We're all not best friends. But collectively, we have one goal, and that is always to win championships and to win games and to push one another and to be the best version of ourselves. Because if we are the best version of ourselves, ultimately, the team is going to be the best version.
And in retirement, as an analyst for Fox Sports, Carli hasn't held anything back, sharply critiquing the performance of the U.S. women's national team at the World Cup.
I have never witnessed, and just seeing these images for the first time right now on the desk, I have never witnessed something like that. There's a difference between being respectful of the fans and saying hello to your family, but to be dancing, to be smiling. I mean, the player of the match was that post. You were lucky to not be going home right now.
You are unapologetically you. Sometimes in a way that rubs people the wrong way, publicly, privately, whatever that is. Where does that come from? Is that just who you are?
I'm not there to be liked. I don't care if you like me or you like me, or I just want to be respected. I want to earn your respect by doing all the right things, treating people respectfully, and just working as hard as I can. And if people don't like me, but they respect me, then that's ultimately what I care about.
Carli Lloyd was revered as a player, and that was on full display during her retirement announcement.
So that leads to another moment that I'd love to show you.
17 years, 34 years playing this beautiful game. And I hope that you know that I gave it everything I had for every single one of you. And that is it. I am signing off. You will not see me on the field, but you best believe that I will be around helping this game grow.
First time I listened to that speech, I don't even remember what I said.
A lot to talk about there. Tell me about it.
Wrapped up the Olympics in Tokyo in 2021. Happened to come away with a bronze medal, which is better than no medal. I knew in that moment it was time to retire. So I had a couple of months to play and to really soak up those last moments, because prior to that, you're blocking out the noise, you're blocking out everything. In those last couple of months, I didn't block out the noise. I wanted to hear the noise, I wanted to hear the fans, read the posters in the stadium, and just literally take in as much as I could, because I knew the end was coming.
She's got to come in for Carli Lloyd. Her international career is over.
I was kind of thinking about how I would honor my husband. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have had the career that I did, because he allowed me to literally put the sport of soccer ahead of him, ahead of everything. I knew that some of the other former players had played with their married names on the back of their jersey for the second half. I always like to do things different. I don't like to follow the crowd. Timing is everything. The jersey needs to be timed at the correct moment of when I'm going to take it off. And so I exit with Lloyd, and at the right moment, I took off the Lloyd jersey just before I stepped off the field. I was exiting into my life as Hollins. My husband was up in one of the suites and was able to be surprised and see the jersey. So, you know, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, okay, so what are you going to go do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm doing things."
I'm doing it.
I don't really touch a soccer ball really ever, except for when I come out to do my clinics. So it makes me happy again to be back out on the field and see you all. We are at my CL10 soccer clinic. They've got 5 different stations. They're going to be kind of going through all different skills, and just looking forward to it today. This clinic is all about being your best version of yourself, so we don't want you worrying about what everybody else is doing.
So tell me about CL10, especially the clinics, because you built quite an infrastructure. It's a family business. How does it all work?
I've been doing my soccer clinics since 2007. And, you know, I think the first one I did maybe had, I don't know, like 40 people in one of the sessions. And so they've just kind of built up over time. We do a bunch in New Jersey. I travel outside of the state as well. Good technique, I like it. The people that we have, our staff that we have, my coaches that I have, it's a very well-oiled machine, and we pride ourselves in having the best people and putting on the best clinic. We've had opportunities to maybe have other people run it, but we run it so well and have it so down and good people. It's just, Yeah, so what? I got to email somebody, hey, can we reserve your field? It's pretty cool to be hands-on. I'd rather be hands-on than sitting back and not knowing anything that's going on. I like your shorts. Oh, number 10. Is that for me or Lindsay Horan? Yeah. Lindsay Horan's pretty good, too. Most important thing is to be respectful of coaches, teammates, teachers. You've got to treat people with respect and how you would like to be treated as well. My husband used to be in the golf business. A lot of hours, weekends, holidays. Kind of made a life decision with him. In 2018, he started my online CL10 merchandise at my clinics as well. And he's more of a numbers guy, which is a lot more helpful for me. And it's been amazing. Keep supporting women's soccer, the NWSL. We need all the support we can get, and hope to see you guys in the future at maybe another clinic or somewhere else. So thank you again. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
And it does feel like this year, with everything that's happening with NWSL expansion, valuations, Women's World Cup, we could look back on 2023 as this catalytic year for this sport. Do you agree?
I do, and I think that we on the U.S. team, for our equal pay fight and everything that we have been fighting for, has really helped push other countries to fight for more as well, and it's only made the game that much stronger. And when I talk about my career, the national team was the top for me. You know, it wasn't club. And so I think 2023, they're hopeful of wanting to kind of switch that narrative. Of course, the national team is always going to be special, but we want the club and the league that you play in, the NWSL or other leagues, to be just as important because you're competing for a championship every year.
The NWSL no doubt has benefited from the fan halo generated by the national team. And that halo dimmed a bit with the Americans' historically bad performance at the most recent World Cup. Following that shocking early-stage departure by the U.S., the NWSL may encounter some challenges, convincing audiences it's the home to the best players in the world. Then again, a growing global audience for soccer may ultimately be good news for the league, if it can continue to attract top talent from overseas. And while the national team will have to wait 4 years to avenge its loss, soccer back home gets back to business. The NWSL is gearing up for its championship run, and to Carli, the future looks bright.
Those early days where you're the younger girl looking up to these women. Now again, the younger girls are looking up to you. You've now seen a generation come up. What's that like?
As I went through my career and you have people running up to you and crying and saying, I read your book, it changed my life, and they write letters into me, and I don't consider myself this hero, but I am that to a lot of people that have come up to me. And so it's been life-changing for me too, because if I can touch somebody's heart or change somebody's direction in life, that to me is the most priceless thing. When I had my life and my dream changed watching that '99 team at Giants Stadium, and then playing in packed stadiums with my name on the back of the jersey, playing soccer for a living, that's when you know that it's life-changing for many people.